Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to the wrap up with myself, Jamie Talks. It's been a while, guys. I'm here for half hour this week. Manic day for me. But let's just get into the football, shall we? Going to get into your comments straight away. Randy, here we go. So, hello, Jamie and chat. If Lopetegui does not get everything right against Ipswich, then the pressure will truly ramp up. He has got to pick his best 11 against Ipswich and win. I do think the pressure is 100% rising for sure. Obviously, it's not been a good start to the season. I think everyone knows that. I think it's a sad state of affairs that we spend the amount of money that we have, and obviously things just haven't ticked quite yet. I'm not necessarily ready to completely write off the manager like a lot of the fan base are. But I do think, things haven't been good enough, and I am concerned myself with the amount of progress that I've seen from week one of Lopetegui back in, pre-season when I watched him against Dagenham and Redbridge, all the way now to, the loss on the weekend and whatnot. So it's been a tough start to the season, but I do think we can start to improve. But I do believe with you that I think a lot of the fan base are unhappy right now, and I think West Ham fans are a hard bunch to please in general. So I do think pressure will start ramping up sooner rather than later. Anyway, let's get into more of the comments. Another one from Randy. Also, don't drop Kudus, put him in the 10, and then judge his performance, not left wing. Fingers crossed that we are tactically prepared. Yeah, it's pretty much what I was alluding to there. I think West Ham need to see some improvements sooner rather than later. I think if you look at the games that we have won this season, obviously we beat Palace. That was a game that could have gone either way. And I don't think we were necessarily the better side. I think we had a better second half. But I think in a lot of games we've had a tough start to the season with the teams we've played. Don't get me wrong. I just think, we haven't been good enough. There's a lot of question marks that are, as I said earlier, West Ham fans are very hard to please, and I think some of the question marks coming out of them right now are justified in some ways. So ultimately, West Ham need a result. 3 points is the only way we're going to, that's going to silence some fans and some critics. And West Ham need to get more, quite a few wins coming up because it's been a tough start to the season. Stuart, good to have you here, mate. How are you doing? Evening, Jamie from Malden. I'm from Southend originally, mate. Yeah, live in London now, but right next to the stadium, actually, in Stratford. But from Southend, love Malden. Used to go all the time as a kid. Evening, Jamie from Malden. 2-0 win on Saturday, plus its first game of the season. Come on, your eyes. That's the attitude there, Stu. Absolutely, mate. Yeah. I like that. I'm going to start saying that myself. It's the start of the season this Saturday. 3 p.m. kickoff. Good way to get the season started. Amar, good to have you in here, mate. He needs time. Seems to be getting aspects. I'd be interested to hear those from you, Amar. I mean, for me personally, I don't know if I'm seeing enough progression from the foot. From a footballing perspective, we play a completely different style of football to what David Moyes did, of course. But I haven't necessarily seen any progression from Moyes to now, and I definitely haven't seen any progression from Lopetegui in his kind of first league game to the 6th league game. So obviously Rome wasn't built in a day. He does need time. I completely agree with you there. But things do need to improve and improve quickly. Barry Clark, good to have you in here, mate. How are you doing? I'm all good, thank you, mate. How are you? How's your week going? Always good to have you in here, Barry. Usual suspects. It all seems very messy at the moment. It all seems very West Ham at the moment. That's what I'll tell you what it feels like. James Bong, what a name. At learn to dig pits or play Kudus on the right, his best position, in my opinion. I don't think I necessarily disagree with you there, guys. If you put Kudus back on the right-hand side, are you all happy to put Jared Bowen centrally? Just floating the question, of course. It's always good to know. Michael, under 21 creditable draw. They play as a team. We need to go back to basics under Lopetegui to get some stability, and that will breed confidence. I think you're right there, mate. And let's have it right. Ipswich have been no mugs in the league so far. They've given a lot of teams tough games. So this Saturday isn't going to be an easy game, walkover game. West Ham have to expect to win this game. Like, let's be clear. But a win on Saturday, I do think will bring a little bit of confidence back, and I think it will, be a most important 3 points in a division where we look to be bloody struggling at the moment. But yeah, manager needs time, bit of confidence and stability. I think the team will start to improve. I'm from Basildon. Oh mate, I'm sorry to hear that. FYI, West Ham women's 6, Portsmouth 1. Play up Pompey. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. He's not scared to make changes, which is a big plus. Do you know what? I will give you that, mate. I will give you that. He is not afraid to make changes. But what I will say is a lot of the time, those changes have come as a result of poor game management, in my opinion. Quite a few times he's made changes at 30 minutes or at half time or whatnot, but they've been a reaction to the starting lineup that he put out, which hasn't worked. So I agree with you. It's good to have a manager that isn't stubborn, sits on his ways, and then makes changes in the 60th, 70th minute. But you also want to have a manager that's picking the right team. And I think there's been a few occasions this season so far where we've seen the team sheet, see the starting 11, you're like, why on certain names? So yes and no. I agree with you, mate. Glad to hear you're from Southend. I used to spend most of my time there as a kid, and Shoeburyness, mate. That's my part of the world. It's where I was born and raised. My family, to give you a little history lesson, both sides of my family all come from the East End of London, like 90% of Essex. So I'm like a third generation, West Ham fan. My dad's side, and everything, we're from Dagenham. My mum's side, we're all from Bow, all in that East London. So, yeah, I grew up in Southend and had no choice but to be a West Ham fan. And I love it and hate it at the same time. But yeah, great place. Shoeburyness, keep that one quiet because that's where the locals go. Yeah, no one knows about Shoeburyness and East Beach and all that. So keep that one quiet, Bazza. Amar, I think we're very close to the team kicking into gear. I bloody hope so, mate. I bloody hope so. Barry, I'm good, thanks, bro. Just need our beautiful team to start gelling and getting us some more wins. That is it, mate. That is it. Rob Singleton, great to have you in here, mate. It's 2-2 at the moment between Bilbao and West Ham's under-21s. Portsmouth men are 6-1 down at Stoke this evening. How lucky. I know a Portsmouth fan. I couldn't stand him. Could not stand him. Do you ever have that, guys? Do you ever have that? Like, I'm Switzerland a lot of the time. I don't really dislike many people and things like that. I just don't have them in my life and whatnot. But do you ever meet someone and if you find out the team that they don't like, do you ever just hope their team does badly on the weekend? I'm taking a lot of joy in that 6-1 defeat right there. Amar, that might make me petty, by the way. I'm aware. Bowen on the right, Kudus in the 10, Somerville on the left. Okay. Hopefully full crew back, possibly. GP, thanks to have you here, mate. How you doing? GP. Oh, another hunk on this network. Cheers, boss. Appreciate it. Usual suspect. Let's get all the highs in here. Nice one. We need to give the head coach time and the fans need to back him. I've been West Ham fans supporter for 42 years. Oh, how have those 42 years been, mate? There's been lots of highs and lots of lows. So this season, the start to the season is no surprise to you, I imagine. Definitely feels like a throwback to West Ham from about 5 years ago before David Moyes anyway. Terrible start to the season. But let's hope it kicks into gear. Fremer, 007, the man himself. Welcome, mate. Michael, the one time he picked a team, fans were happy. We got smashed by Chelsea. Yeah. Do you know what? Chelsea are a weird one, though. They may have lofty ambitions this year in terms of trying to fight for the top 4. They've started the season on fire. Cole Palmer looks to be one of the best players in the world, let alone the league. So he's done a lot. And I think the manner of the defeat was concerning, of course, but I think come the end of the season where we see Chelsea are, it might be more acceptable in terms of where they are as a side. When the season when the season started at the start of the season, I said Chelsea could finish anywhere between 15th and 5th, and I wouldn't be surprised because they're just such an unknown kind of quantity. They've They've been all over the place. Barry. So this is, mate, I lost my virginity at Asda. Small world. I do love it there. Shoebury-Ness Asda. If you know Shoebury-Ness Asda, let me know down below. Fremmer, I agree, mate. Love Bilbao. Lovely city. Not too big. Spurs fans every week. Usual suspect 100. Daniel, here we are, mate. Right, welcome to the stream. Let's get another comment in here. Hi, Jamie. I'd only play players that are better than others at the moment. So if that means dropping big names, I'm all for it. It's the club, not individuals, that must come first. And also, I would say that we haven't necessarily had many high performers so far this year. Granted, we've played a lot of good teams that have, brushed us aside and whatnot, but we haven't necessarily, I don't think there's too many names in the squad so far who can necessarily hold their heads that high in terms of performances week in, week out. So you talk about, dropping big names and stuff like that. I think anyone's droppable in the squad at the moment, other than maybe, in my opinion, probably Max Kilman. I think Max Kilman's, impressed when he could. So outside of that, the attackers have got to play because they are genuine quality. I think you always got to pick Paquetá, but I think there's a lot of players that could lose their space in this starting lineup, and I don't think many people will question them. We've obviously all got our favourite players that you want to see play and whatnot, but just to your point, I can see people getting dropped for sure. GP, my comment disappeared. HH only says Lanzini can be a hunk. No, it didn't. Sorry. Okay. I think we need to play the team we put out at Liverpool. They look good and everyone did a job. Antonio coming as a sub is good with Souček. Barry, I hope it wasn't a frozen chicken. Baz lost his virginity and then never used protection ever again. That's true. How many kids you on right now? El Fremmer. That wasn't the start of the 10 kids though. Bloody hell, 10 kids. 10 kids. Fair play, mate. You have been a busy boy. I've seen good times, bad times. I get a lot of stick for being a West Ham fan at work, but I keep my head up. Top man, Stu. That's all we can ever do. That's all we can ever do, being a West Ham fan. You get the highs and lows from everyone. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the game on the weekend. Keep all your comments coming in and whatnot, and I'll put you up and whatnot on the screen. But yeah, let's talk a lot about this weekend's game, and I feel like because of the quality of the opposition, Ipswich are going to struggle in the league this year. We have to be expecting a win this weekend, and if we don't get a win, then I do think there's some serious cause for alarm bells. I don't think necessarily that we've seen enough progression from the football team so far this year. Say what you want about the David Moyes era. There were a hell of a lot of low points. There were a hell of a lot of high points. But other than the last season, it's never felt like we were going into a game and almost felt like we'd get battered. But now going into this Ipswich game, if we had David Moyes in charge, don't get me wrong. It was David Moyes' time to go. I love David Moyes at the club, but I do agree with everyone in terms of it being it probably was the right time to go. It was like a parting of ways. I think it was the end of the David Moyes chapter, and I'm not calling for David Moyes to come back, but I do think this time last year, we're going to play Ipswich at home. I have a lot more confidence in that fixture, and I expect us to get a result there. Whereas I just don't know what to expect from West Ham this weekend. Ipswich at home, they've been a difficult side for a lot of teams. They haven't necessarily bent over for anyone. They've been beaten and they've struggled a lot. But would anyone be surprised if Ipswich get a result? I don't want to say yes or no to that. I just don't really know what to expect from West Ham with such an unknown kind of entity at the moment. Obviously, the Brentford result, I do think kind of glossed over the cracks a little bit in terms of, we got away with a 1-1 draw, but I don't think we were that impressive. And then obviously the cup game last Wednesday, I think in spells we looked good, but we gave Liverpool the opportunity to beat us 5-1. The game wasn't really there to be a 5-1 at any point, and I think sending off changed the game and stuff. So yeah, I just don't know what to expect from the game this Saturday, but I would love us to actually get a decent result because, frankly, we've we've struggled. We've struggled, and I think we've all seen it. Let's get some more comments in here. GP, it was a solid away result against a tricky team. You're not wrong there, mate. I mean, yeah, it was. But at the end of the day, we come away with a point, and a point on paper is very good. But if you look at the full 90 minutes, I don't think we were necessarily impressive. You know, I don't think anyone would have been surprised on another day if we get beaten there at Brentford. But we didn't. I suppose it's hypotheticals. There's no point to talking to hypotheticals. It's a point on the board. Just wasn't necessarily impressed with West Ham on the day. Barry, I remember it like it was yesterday, being 14 again. Oh, bloody hell, Barry. We need to get you in another chat room saying that, mate. We need the win Saturday, without a doubt. I agree with you there, Rob. Daniel Neal. Many are saying it's a must-win game. I know two people that went to Ipswich for that and they held their own when we never. Did we hold our own against Villa? In spells we did, but either way, like I can't. I don't think you can look at football in that kind of view. Like, you know, I know it's. I know what you're saying. They did well against Aston Villa, so they'll do well against us. But there's a hell of a lot of moving pieces in football, and it's not as simple as that on paper. In my opinion, you know, Ipswich are one of the worst sides in the Premier League. They will get relegated this year. If West Ham have any hopes of doing anything this year, we have to be expecting 3 points against Ipswich at home. And if we're not, then we have something seriously wrong at the football club. That's not to disrespect Ipswich, but we're talking about a newly promoted side, you know, like picking up scraps from other Premier League clubs and not spending a huge amount of money. Obviously, they've got a great gaffer. They've got a great story. I'm not trying to slight Ipswich at all. I really like Ipswich as a football club, but we have to be expecting wins against that, you know, against them. And I know they did well against Aston Villa, but this is an Aston Villa that obviously are like competing in Europe in multiple competitions and whatnot. So they're having to juggle their squads as well. So things were very different. We played Aston Villa first game of the season. Everyone's coming fresh into the game. Everyone's kind of like, you know, depending on how good your pre-season was and all sorts of things. There's a million other moving pieces for that. So I hear you. They played well on the weekend against Aston Villa. I actually watched that game, but we can't go into this game not expecting 3 points. We just have to. Barry, this is the 11 Barry wants for the team. Let me know down below if you agree with this. Play Areola, Emerson, Kilman, Todibo, Wan-Bissaka, Alvarez, Soler, Paquetá, Kudus on the right, Somerville on the left, and Bowen up front, and stick with it. Get them gelling together, being on Antonio Soucek as subs. I agree, mate. I agree with you on this as well, mate, Stu. He does not know his best 11 and the best formation. I think it's hard to disagree with that, Stu, because, you know, I think it was Amra, I believe his name was, earlier, was saying about, obviously, you know, he's not afraid to make decisions and whatnot. And that's true. But I think a lot of those decisions have come as a result of making the wrong decision initially. So it's good on one hand. It just depends on how you look at it, I suppose. So I think because of that, it's hard to say that he knows his best 11 or his best formation. And being, you know, going into game week 7, it is kind of worrying from that perspective. But all we can do is hope that something ticks for Ipswich at home. Mark, good to have you here, mate. Let's have a little look at this then. As I said, the Brentford result is decent unless you beat Ipswich, then it's a poor result. Michael, only 35 more points to safety. How usual, see you on the Osh as well. Yep, go show some love to them. Bowen is to play on the wing, not a centre forward. I think I'm with you there, mate. The worry is if Leif Davis on the left has Sufa on the right, he's a good crosser. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of individual battles for sure. Could even see Ben Johnson playing against us. Imagine he gets the winner there. We do not need to start getting a win against Ipswich. We do need to start getting a win against Ipswich. Then got Manchester United. They're not playing good at the moment. Then Spurs. We've got a battle coming up. Exactly, mate. And like, you know, if we don't win this game, then it's hard to go into a game against Man United or Spurs and expect to win. It is. It's just that's just a matter of fact. So we need We need a result this Saturday. I can't express how much I want a result this Saturday. I've been to every home game this year so far in the Cups and Premier League, and it's just been god awful. It's been god awful. I just want to see us perform well. I think the last time I saw us, honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, my memory's super foggy at the moment. The last time I think I saw us win at the London Stadium was against Celta Vigo in pre-season. I'm pretty sure that's right. I don't think we've won at home yet. Obviously, we lost. I know we lost the 3 in a row, but I don't remember winning anything. We beat. We beat Bournemouth in the cup. I saw us winning the cup. Yeah, that was a while ago. If we don't win, Loppy will injure himself again, kicking and screaming. If we lose, Lopetegui will end up in hospital. We can't be having a Loppy in and Loppy out shit starting. We had enough with Moyes. Let's just stick with him. I agree with you, mate. Are these the odds? Where are these odds from, mate? And I'll let everyone know. West Ham 4-5. Ipswich 31-10. The draw 11-4. So we have to be winning. We have to be. I'm throwing over for the Man U game. They are more shite than us. That's 3 points right there. Frema, I love it. That's the attitude I want to hear, mate. Oi. How you doing? Happy Hammer. Good to have you here. My team for Ipswich. This is Mike's team. Let us know down below if you agree with him. My team for Ipswich. Ariola, Emerson, Kilman, Tadibo, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Soler, Alvarez, Kudus, Bowen, Ings, Antonio, Fulkrug. Fulkrug's out until the Spurs game. All right. All right. Randy. The best lineup is there to be picked. It's up to Lopetegui to be brave and pick our best players in their right positions and tactically set us well. And then we are fine. We need to batter Man United while they're part of shit. I love us beating Spurs. They're shit as well. I hope for that. Mavropanos played well as a right back last game, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka played well on the left. Do you think we'll see it again this match? I'm not actually sure, Daniel. I think we'll probably be a lot more. It's a different kettle of fish when you're playing away. I think at home against Ipswich, I think he'll want more of a roaming right back, someone who can kind of do the hard yards. I don't know if Mavropanos kind of has that in him. He's much more defensive than what Soufal is. I'm not saying Soufal's the best option either, but I think he probably goes with Soufal and Wan-Bissaka. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Really surprised. But he's played Mavropanos a lot. He clearly rates him. Hello, Happy, late as usual. Oh, yeah, Happy Hammerette. Lots of love for Happy Hammerette in here. Last time I see us win a game at London Stadium against Luton. Right, here we go. Too much flippy, floppy, loppy fans at the moment. Right. There we go. Budgie's in here. What a man. What a man. Get some love for Budgie. Right. I'm going to be wrapping up the shows in about half hour, guys. I'm working for CBS this evening for their Champions League coverage. So I am rushed to the bone, but I managed to sneak away for 30 minutes so I can do a little show with you guys. But yeah, let's just sum up everything right now. It has been stinking. It's been honking this start to the season. We haven't seen enough from the club. I don't think. I say from the club, from the players. I think obviously we went out there, signed a hell of a load of players, and unfortunately it just hasn't gelled yet. But it's a long old season, and I think we can pull it around. And I think Ipswich at home this Saturday is the perfect way to start that. Anything but a win is a disappointment, in my opinion. We have to be winning that game. Absolutely. We cannot come away, and I cannot be here next Wednesday talking to you guys. And just without 3 points on the board. We can't be going into Manchester United and Spurs without a win against Ipswich. Otherwise, we're another 3 games down the line without potentially getting a result. But that's the life of a West Ham fan. Thank you all for coming. I know it's been short and sweet, about 25, 30 minutes. But again, I am mad busy at the moment with work and whatnot, and I'm actually going to work now. But guys, it's been a pleasure. Love speaking to you every week. I'll be back next week at 9. I'm going to try and do a longer show next week. So hopefully it'll be in the shadow of a win against Ipswich. and I will catch you later. Actually, one more question. Here we are. Right. Lopetegui keeps changing our 11. Perhaps that needs to be on the training ground from now on. Possibly, mate. Possibly. And I think that's the one thing that, and I'll end it with this. Lopetegui needs to find out his best first 11, quickly, and get that sorted, because there's too much change, and it's just not working at the moment. As much as I like that he's not afraid to make the big decisions and big changes in pivotal moments in games and whatnot, and we didn't see enough of that under David Moyes at the football club. I do also think that a lot of those things are reactionary to bad decisions at the start of the game. So let's just hope he can turn it around. And in the meantime, guys, I will catch you all later. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your comments. Have a lovely week, and let's try and enjoy the footy. Nice one.